Play.
Bueno, aquí estamos desde la Academia de Rafa Nadal. In the face of Nick is thinking, what language are we going to be doing this in? Don't panic, Nick. We're going to stick to our mother tongues. But I just thought I would show off a little bit. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm very relieved on behalf of our viewers that they would not be hearing me speaking in Spanish for this stream, because there would be a lot of me reading off Google Translate, having typed into Google what I would want to say. Cannot speak a word of the language, barely speak English.
I think for a live commentary, it's probably not the best time to start learning, maybe. How are you doing anyway in general? You all right? How much are you enjoying this tournament? We had a sort of a rain-interrupted day a couple of days ago, but dry weather. I guess we should mention Bottlegate regarding Novak Djokovic and the drop bottle.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've barely watched any of it. It's not due to anything else. It's just life kind of getting in the way of sort of me watching a lot of it. But
I think the only match I've seen in completion was the Nadal first round against Zizou Bergs. It was entertaining as well.
Yes, it was. I mean, I didn't catch that one, but obviously there were probably a lot of hardcore Belgian fans who were very happy with the way that was going initially. But I felt like that was a match that if Nadal continued to play how he was in Madrid, that he should win. And certainly it doesn't look like that he's eased off the gas since Madrid, which might make this Polish player that he's playing, some guy called Hubert Hurkacz. Very concerned. And by the way, for those who weren't, I do actually know who Hubert Hurkacz is. Don't worry, John's not got me off the street.
Anyway, listen, Nick. Just a couple of things regarding Nadal against Bergs, and also today. The good news is I think his energy levels were pretty good, which is important. The longer this clay season goes on, the more energy he's going to need, particularly when it comes to best of 5 in Paris. If there's some bad news, he said that his level in practice is actually better than on the court, because actually his level the other day, particularly in the first set, was a long way off what it was, even against Lehecka, because against Lehecka in the first set, despite losing it, his level was pretty good, which is why I think he was quite happy with his performance in Madrid over those matches. The other thing, though, regarding today is, as I look at a picture of Iga Swiatek on the clay, but she's on the ground, so I imagine that wasn't after winning. So I think it's a reprisal of winning the French Open last year, because beating Putintseva in straight sets, that would be quite a dramatic thing to fall to the clay afterwards in jubilation. But just one thing, sorry, Nick, I want to say is, for me, the biggest thing today is about returning Hurkacz's serve, which will be a slightly easier task in Rome than it was against Lehecka in Madrid. We all know about the conditions there. But yeah, if Rafa's comfortable so far back, if you like, gets that serve back in play, and it's game on as far as he's concerned. If Hubie is firing down aces, etc., well, then we're looking at probably Hubie being the favourite. So that's the dynamic for me that's going to decide who wins this match.
I mean, look, Nadal against anyone in a straight rally on clay is going to be in the mix, healthy or not. Hurkacz is not bad on the stuff. He obviously has done okay at Monte Carlo recently, but he
won the fifth slam at Estoril.
Finally got a clay court tournament under his belt. But he's I would say that I would agree with you. Like, if Nadal's returning his serve, Nadal should have him in the rallies, because he's got a bit more weapon off both wings. And can probably wear Hurkacz down a bit more. Or I would rely on Nadal to wear Hurkacz down rather than the other way around, provided, of course, that Nadal's body allows him to do that, because Nadal's body giving up, then pretty much he's vulnerable to anyone. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Is it's all going to be on Nadal's fitness today.
Did you see the Swiatek match, by the way?
I did. I caught the second set. That was when Iga was playing well. Putintseva had the ability to disrupt every now and again, but not do an awful lot. But Iga went off the boil for half a set and very nearly lost it. having to come from 4-1 down in the second to get it down to 6-4.
Oh, was she 4-1 down? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, Putintseva had break points for a 5-1 lead multiple times. There was a very, very long game mid-second set that could have meant that the momentum would have taken Putintseva to a third, but Iga found her range again because she just went off the boil and then kind of got through.
I mean, that's a tough opening match for Iga, the Madrid quarterfinalist, I'd like to say, and she really probably should have beaten Rybakina. So that's a really tough
opening match because she destroyed Bernarda Parra in the previous round.
Of course, yes, of course. So okay, second match, yes, of course. I'm getting confused because I'm thinking Rafa's in the second match, and she will have played her second match, but of course she's seeded anyway. So anyway, good news for her. Let's give her a nice tester ahead of probably harder assignments to come.
As John is currently ordering a vital coffee to enjoy the match with, as you make your annual pilgrimage.
I thought you didn't speak Spanish. Yes, it is an annual. It is an annual pilgrimage, and it was February 2022. I was here during the Acapulco tournament that Rafa ended up winning. I remember waking up at like 4:00 in the morning and coming downstairs. I was basically the only person I think watching it downstairs. That match in the final he had against, I gotta say, Medvedev, I think, or was it Cam Norrie in the final? Maybe Cam Norrie. And then last year I was here in much gloomier times, like March, April time, when he kept withdrawing from all those tournaments. And I remember taking a picture, and there was a cloud hanging over the Rafa Nadal Academy, and I sort of made a tweet about how ironic that was. Today the sun is shining, so we'll see if that ends up being the case also in terms of a Rafa win. So if you hear some cheers, by the way, then you'll know why. Because, of course, obviously today we're looking at a lunchtime match rather than a 4 a.m. one like Acapulco.
Yes, and I think it depends. I mean, like, is there much of a crowd gathering in there now?
10, 20 people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there might be more once the match sort of really gets underway.
Much like most of this stream. By the way, if you do want to comment, please let us know. Hi, Matthew. Lovely to see you, as always. By the way, John, I don't speak Spanish. However, cafe is coffee in multiple languages, so it wasn't hard to piece together.
Can you guess what type of coffee I ordered? You're guessing now, or are you trying to remember what I was saying?
I'm going to guess. I'm going to say you're going for some kind of latte.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, I asked if he had a latte, and they said, "Well, we've got coffee with milk." I said, "All right, that'll do. That'll do."
Yeah, I feel like it's too warm. It's too warm to have anything without milk in it. I do try to.
Hurkacz won the toss and unsurprisingly decided to serve first. It'd be interesting to see, by the way, today. Maybe my stream will be ahead of yours. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm kind of seeing a aerial shot of the stadium right now. Which, by the way, I absolutely love the stadium.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Where do you go? Give me a quick. Where do you stand on the roof debate?
I think given that road's been disrupted by rain for the last few years, it's something that you should look at.
I'm less enthusiastic. It's not something I'm passionate about. I'm not tweeting every day, don't put a roof. I don't really mind, but I just think that, last year I think was a one-off. We'll see. I know we had a bit of rain the other day, but we'll see if how that manifests itself today. But yeah. So, by the way, I'm off to a challenger next week as well in sort of near Lisbon. So quite a bit of tennis, and I'm off to Strasbourg as well. That on-off trip to Strasbourg is back on. So that's good news anyway. And, by the way, I think my stream is going to be a little bit behind yours because I saw that aerial shot you were talking about 15 seconds later. I'm now watching the first rally of the match. I'm not going to look at
no, you're ahead of me.
Yeah, but I think I'm behind you. Oh, Rafa's won with a forehand winner.
I haven't even seen that yet. Hurkacz is literally just about to serve on my screen.
Oh, I tell you what then. My bad then. Maybe they did two aerial shots. Hi to everyone in the chat. I'll let you talk through the points. I won't react too much, but if you hear cheers, as I say, I think we won't get too many cheers until probably sets or breaks occur, if you like. But
makes sense. I mean, I've got stuff I can do to kind of bring me a bit further forward. It was a long rally ended with a Nadal forehand cross court winner, and that's going to get the job done. for Rafa. So yeah, I think I've just seen the finishing point there. But let's see if I can play around.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I'm going to catch all the way up to you, but I can make the delay a little bit less extreme.
Betty in the chat, by the way, is saying she believes Hubie will get the win. It's an interesting spelling, Betty, because it's the way you spelled it. Sorry to sort of point this out, but it's just too funny not to. Hubby meaning like husband, but I suspect that neither Hurkacz is her husband or he's playing Rafa Nadal today, and she means Hubie Hurkacz. Sorry, Betty, I just had to highlight that. What's going on here with Matthew? I expect all of Rafa's matches to be middle of the day. He wants it hot. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Matthew, because even in Madrid, I was thinking in terms of the public, you'd want him playing at night, but I think he wanted to play during the day. Now, I know he had the last one against Lehetsku at night. Gracias. I know he had the last one. You can guess what I said there, maybe, Nick.
Yeah, gracias. Thank you.
There you go. Very good. You'll be fluent by the end of this stream.
I actually know are hello and thank you.
Okay. I have just seen a point that has concluded, and I wonder if that noise is going to disrupt, maybe. Just a second.
We'll see what's happening, but we've got some. Yeah, I'm just seeing a point now at love 30. Backhand up line from Hurkacz. Backhand cross court from Nadal. Forehand Hurkacz. Backhand Nadal. Forehand Hurkacz cross court. Nadal backhand looped up. Forehand Hurkacz going to go back at Nadal, who just clips the net. Drop shot from Hurkacz. Nadal's going to come in and pass. Just missed it.
Yeah, he'll be very disappointed with that, because that was Rafa's point, really. You talked us through it pretty well, but Rafa really had a great chance to win that point.
Yeah, that was. I thought Rafa would be up in that match. He defended really, really well, and he got to the drop shot really good. He didn't miss by much. He's going to be a little bit frustrated with that. Hurkacz, first serve into the net. That's not going to help the Pole, who's trying to dig himself out of a game. He doesn't want to go down a break like straight away. That's not what would help him out right now. Short second serve. Nadal attacks it. Forehand inside out from Hurkacz. Backhand, forehand cross court. Forget Nadal's lefty. Forehand cross court from Nadal into the net. Hurkacz at 30 all. I think there's something to be said here that whilst we're talking about Nadal being the favourite in this match, I feel like we shouldn't be too down on Hurkacz, given he is a top 10 player and isn't terrible on the surface. John, whatever you're saying is not able to be heard, which probably means
I'm just moving location. That's all.
Okay, he's moving locations. Well, while John is on the move and you get a tour of the Rafael Nadal Academy in the background, we're gonna see Nadal get a break point opportunity here in Rome. Well, on the screen in Rome. I'm actually in the UK. Multinational coverage brought to you, as always, on Talking Tennis. It's 30-40. Hurkacz serves into the net. So Nadal's got a second serve to look at to try and break here in this second set. What's Nadal going to do? He's zoning in. He was hoping to get the break already. Short second serve from Hurkacz. And Nadal's caught up by the angle. He's put the forehand into the net. We're at deuce. Looking at the chat now, Terry, I agree. I think that Djokovic will probably be playing at night for a lot of his. Of course, depending on whether or not he's got a concussion. Hurkacz getting the win, I think, much as Betty, I don't know if you might be the only Hurkacz fan in the chat, but certainly we are expecting to be more passionate about this than other people. I don't know if we've got any Nadal fans in here. If you are a Nadal fan, you're watching, please let us know whether you're watching on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube's Twitch. We'd love to hear from you. As Hurkacz is inside out, backhand's gone into the tram line, one in the tram line as advantage Nadal. And got to be a great analysis there from Matthew to kind of come in on, but we'll see if Nadal can break here. Second break point for Rafael Nadal. Hurkacz serves, puts the first serve into the net. So Nadal's got another second serve to look at. Of course, that previous second serve from Hurkacz angle on it, but chance Nadal is really far back to return. Forehand Nadal cross court looped. Backhand Hurkacz up the middle. Forehand Nadal back to Hurkacz backhand. Nadal then goes Back up the line with his backhand, clips the net, slice from Hurkacz. Nadal's going to run for the inside out forehand. Hurkacz is really having to slide into the fence on that. Forehand Nadal back towards the Hurkacz backhand. Nadal keeps moving Hurkacz from side to side. He's very much up in this rally, moving around to hit the forehand a lot. Hurkacz goes back behind, and Nadal has to slice that one. Forehand cross court Hurkacz, slice by Nadal, inside out from Hurkacz, back cross court into the net from Nadal. Oh, he had opportunity. Hurkacz's defense was insane.
20 shots that last rally. But let me tell you this, it is a rally that Rafa would expect to win 9 times out of 10, so he'll be disappointed that he didn't.
Yeah, sure. I thought he might have opportunity, but I think when Hurkacz went back behind, that neutralized the rally, and it was kind of he was going to miss, really.
Yeah. Have you seen that point from Rafa the other day when he falls over?
Yes, I saw that point. That was probably the one point from the match against Bergs I did see.
yeah, it's the one that I think it's the one that circulated the most.
Well, Murray also commented on it on Twitter.
I saw, and I commented on Murray, but Murray has yet to respond. Maybe he's still thinking about it.
Nadal's got a pass at the net, which he achieved. Both guys were at the net. That was just an easy pass from Nadal. Another advantage, another opportunity to break for the Spaniard. Turns out Betty's going to be happier than that it was a Hurkacz game point. I apologize. I assumed you were a Hurkacz fan, but maybe you're just being a pessimistic Nadal fan. That Bergs match must have been a roller coaster for you, Betty.
Yes, it was a roller coaster at times. I just think that maybe in the third set, it did have a feeling of inevitability about it. Hurkacz, by the way, with an unreturnable serve there to save that last break point. And again, that's in a way, Rafa will be disappointed if he doesn't break serve here. You could look at the positives, like, okay, he's getting on the service games, but, there might be some service games that fly past, if you like, whereas he's getting in the rallies here and then he's erring. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's really good if Hurkacz gets his first serve percentage up, because I think it's pretty obvious it's been shocking. Got an ace out wide from Hurkacz there, though, which is going to help his cause. But certainly, I've been commentating him more on second serves than first serves from Hurkacz.
Yeah.
Now Hurkacz does have a game point, having saved 3 break points, but he's gone long on the first serve. So it's a second serve to try and finish this game off and kind of come out some early trouble. Second serve from Hurkacz. Nadal's going to get a backhand on it, loops it up. Forehand from Hurkacz is short. Forehand Nadal to the Hurkacz backhand cross court. Nadal's going to try and go back behind it again, still kind of peppering the backhand. Now Nadal changes direction. Hurkacz can't chase that down. He gets a racket on it. No hope of controlling it, though. And that was Nadal. Brutal forehand special up the line. Back to juice.
But you're right. As soon as he starts getting those first serves in, if he gets sort of 65% plus, then because it might be another set and a half. We just don't know with Hubert. It might be another set and a half before we get to another break point. You just don't know with Hubert. I mean, on this surface in Rome, you'd expect him to be getting a few more chances, but you just don't know. When you get your chance against Hubert and you're in rallies, that's the thing. He's been getting in the rallies sometimes. Okay, you pointed out that ace, and I think I mentioned that unreturn as well. But, sometimes there's a rally going on and it's a break point, and I'm thinking, Rafa, you've got to win this. And sometimes he wasn't, because he was dumping stuff in the net. Yeah,
it is interesting that out of the two, like Nadal's definitely the one who's up in the rallies, but he's also the one more likely to make an error. And Hurkacz's defense has been absolutely phenomenal. As he net rushes behind that second serve, but the follow-up volley is not good enough, and puts that in the net. We're back to juice.
I asked Hubert in Estoril about the serving volley, because he was doing it a bit there as well, and I was trying to eke out, like, does he know when he's going to do it? Does he do it on break points? And he basically just said it's just a random thought that comes into his head, just before the first serve. Like it,
because that second serve was super short, and I was thinking that was probably not the smartest choice.
That was a second serve, wasn't it? He went in on.
Yeah, and he's just dragged a forehand wide cross court again, trying to deal with a very, very good Nadal return off a first serve, by the way. It's advantage again, Nadal. Can the Spaniard make the most of this opportunity? Nadal standing there in his kind of current clay court setup, so the light purple with the sort of orange trim to his outfit. He's going to receive the serve from the grayscale pole, and it's actually, it's an ace. Nadal is checking, wants the mark checked. Umpire's down. It's good.
Yeah.
Serve is good. It is an ace, and it's another break point saved by Hubert Hurkacz.
Yeah. I mean, no regrets there. When Hubi's saving them with big serves, you just go fine and you move on. Tell you what, though, his second serves are getting some nice kicks into them, but Nadal's dealing with it pretty well.
Nadal didn't deal with that first serve well, so we're at advantage Hurkacz again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the kick of it, like especially that second serve that like looks super short. It had so much angle. It kicked out wide. That was perfect for Nadal, given how far back he was standing.
It feels like this game is huge. You know, it might be the game we look. It's only the first game of the match, but and I have to leave in about an hour, so my hopes of a quick sort of hour and a quarter match are slowly receding.
So Rafael Nadal gets a top 10 player on clay. Probably was never going to be straightforward. We're into a long rally. Nadal drop shots. And that's a beautiful drop shot from Rafael Nadal. And beautiful. It's juice. What a drop shot. That was a little bit under pressure. He was trying to come up with something different. He noticed how far back Hurkacz was. Perfect placement. That was too good.
You're going to see another drop shot in a second from Hubert Hurkacz. I hope I'm not giving too much away, but maybe my smile is. You'll see.
Interesting. Okay.
You'll see.
There's been 18 points in this game so far, by the way. As, first serve is long from Hurkacz.
They showed how many points on Rafa's serve as well, which is a bit weird because he's yet to serve. So
we'll see. Because that's the drop shot from Hurkacz, which was telegraphed so well, and it bounced really high. And Nadal needed some speed to get to it, but once he got there, he had time to put away that backhand, and his advantage again to Nadal. 5th break point chance.
Telegraphed is maybe being kind to Rafa, because I think it was also not the best drop shot I've ever seen compared to the drop shot we saw preceding that.
Yeah. Oh, it was not a good drop shot, whether telegraphed or not. It just bounced so high.
True.
And the first serve is long from Hurkacz.
Terry, the reason I'm ahead is I'm in Spain watching it. Terry probably doesn't know. Terry is a Rafa Nadal fan, so should know and needs to know. I'm in Mallorca watching the match. So, apart from Rome, I'm guessing I can't get much closer to the action.
Hurkacz actually forces an error from Nadal with a forehand, which I never thought I'd say, but there you go. Goes up the line with the forehand, was in the process of coming in behind it, and Nadal's retrieval attempt is over the baseline. So that's another break point saved. We are at 20 points game, 20 points. And also, let's face it, if Rafael Nadal Academy cannot provide an up-to-date stream of a Rafael Nadal match, who can?
Yeah. The only thing that might drop is the Wi-Fi, but fingers crossed that holds as well.
Yes. Well, John will be here for as long as he can be here.
I'm looking at a huge picture of the Rod Laver Arena stadium.
I'm hoping
on the right I can see a picture of Rafa with the 2022 trophy, and then on the left with the 2009 trophy. Both, of course, 5 sets. One against Federer, one against Medji. By the way, have you seen the last point?
Yeah, I have. I've seen the last point. It's straightforward serve and unreturn from Hurkacz. 14-minute game. That was mental. That was a 22-point game in 14 minutes. I don't know what to say really. That was a marathon from Hurkacz, and that's going to give him some confidence that he can hang with Nadal today.
Yeah. Particularly when he's not getting his first serves in. Listen, we'll see. But like I said, it might be another few games before Rafa gets another chance. We don't know. I mean, three first serves from Hubie, and you're in trouble basically. But anyway, Rafa's about to serve. 15 minutes now on the clock for me, although I know I'm a few seconds ahead of you. But maybe that could be a little bit difficult for Rafa as well. I mean, he's been here, seen it, and worn the T-shirt, so you'd think he'd be all right. But I mean, that's a big hold for Hubie.
Big hold, and now it's going to be down to the Rafa serve, which, as we all know, is the thing about his game, the aspect of his game that's most compromised by the injuries he's dealt with. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's sort of doing out here in Rome.
it almost feels like we're sort of back to 2005 Rafa, where he's just putting the ball in play and seeing how it works out.
That's interesting. When did he stop doing that?
I think, well, listen, I would say there was a gradual improvement over the years, but the biggest thing regarding his serve in terms of step forward was 2016, 2017, when he took on Moya and sort of stopped working with his uncle. A lot of people have praised Moya for the work that he did in those initial sort of first few months when, don't forget, that was sort of like a 2-year period that Rafa had where he just wasn't doing anything at slams anyway. A bit like, I think Novak had like a year, 18 months, a year or so later, but that was obviously a lockdown, maybe to the elbow issue. Rafa seemed to be more like a confidence thing where his forehand was super loopy on all surfaces and just seemed to lack confidence on it. But anyway, that's his serve sort of time of most improvement, I would suggest, 2016, 2017.
Yeah, that was probably critical to his longevity as well. Same with Novak as well. That serve improvement was also going to help him shorten the points and keep the career going for as long as it has, because obviously 16, 17 was what, 7-8 years ago. And suddenly you're and I don't think when we were watching tennis then we would be talking about still watching Nadal in 2024.
Yeah, true.
Great from Rafa, loved it for the mid-court 15-all.
Yeah.
I just turned something back in 5 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. The first point went the way of Hurkacz as a result of a shank. But now Rafa's looking a bit better now after smashing that one to make it 30-15.
And I think one of the things that, might help Rafa today is, you're talking about the serve and it's sort of going back to being sort of going in and hoping for the best. He's not exactly like Hurkacz's return, although obviously he's a world-class player. It's not talked about in glowing terms. And I think that will really help a lot. That's a great overhead from Rafa at the net for 30-15.
I like the way you put that.
Well, it's not exactly bad. It's just not the best in the world. No one really talks about it. And so that's going to help a lot. I think he's not going to necessarily come off the back of that. Jamie's saying the Nadal not breaking in that game is typical. The Nadal not breaking that game is typical Nadal. Maybe that's the Nadal fan talking of like, come on.
Jamie is a Nadal fan. Yeah, Jamie is a Nadal fan. I know what Jamie means in a way, but a guy who's won 22 Grand Slams. He's not someone who's not putting opponents away when he gets the chance.
30-all. Nadal putting a backhand into the net, not helping his case there. So he's still got to try and get through this game. Terry, I feel like John is not going to shut up about being at the Rafael Nadal Academy as long as he's there.
Terry, the thing was, I spent the first 5 minutes talking about it, so I was a bit reluctant to keep highlighting it, but yes, I am. Anyway, nice forehand winner there for Rafa. Are you a run-around forehand sort of person, Nick, or are you
on the court?
Comfortable hitting? Yeah, on the court, yeah. I don't mean like in your kitchen.
Well, I don't know. That would explain all the broken glass. The Nadal, yeah, I've just seen that inside out 5 winner. I think it depends on if I think I could get away with it. I do prefer to hit forehands where I can, but I wouldn't necessarily run all the way around the backhand. My backhand is it's a solid shot, but it's not really a weapon. So it doesn't miss very often, but I'm not going to hit winners with it. So if you get me
is that also on your backhand? Is it also because you sort of don't trust yourself on it as well? So you're thinking, I'll just get this back in play and hopefully get a forehand in a minute.
I think it's a technical problem because I will really try and swing through it, and it doesn't have a lot of depth. So, but it means if you get me off balance on it, then it will shank. But not shank, but yeah, it just won't kind of follow through properly.
Yeah. You're going to see if you haven't seen it already, you're going to see a nice volley.
Yeah, fantastic drop shot from Hurkacz there. We're back to deuce. that's Hurkacz is really making this a contest, I have to say.
Absolutely. We could be on for another long game here. I mean, we're over 20 minutes and we're just at juice in the second game.
Where are you? Are you a I mean, I don't know. I've seen the footage. I wouldn't be surprised if you were a run around the back, run around to hit forehands kind of guy. Especially on clay.
I am, especially on clay. Yeah. I just don't have that footwork that you see that the professionals and especially Rafa have. You know, when he's skipping around that backhand, I think it's in. You know, I'm going to miss it. Put it that way.
Yeah. Also missed is that Hubert Hurkacz return, although he's claiming that the first serve from Rafa was long.
And it was long.
Okay. So we've got a second serve for Nadal, which I think we'll be disappointed by because he would have hoped to have got the job done here. I'm looking at the clock and I'm looking at how far through this match we are. Some sets about halfway through at this point. Forehand up the line from Hurkacz, then Nadal forehand, which is looped. Now he's running around to hit another forehand inside out. Hurkacz is still retrieving it. Nadal's got a drop shot. Hurkacz is going to come in. He's going to reach it, and he passes. No, Nadal's just about gets it, but he puts that over the baseline, and Nadal's not happy with that situation. It's advantage Hurkacz. That drop shot from Nadal was not quite as good quality as the one that won him a point earlier on.
You're right, yeah. And it goes long. So, yeah, we are looking at a sort of similar second game to what we had to the first. By the way, you mentioned about some sets being done. I mean, an eager set definitely could be done by that stage.
Maybe it's time for the student to become the master. But anyway, I think we'll need to see how this break point works out. But I was going to make a point about the time on the clock in a minute, and we'll have a look and see how this works out. We've got advantage for Hurkacz, who gets the backhand in play. Forehand Nadal inside out. Hurkacz is going to try and scramble that forehand back. Forehand Nadal up the line. Try and move Hurkacz around a bit. Try and draw an error. It goes back to the Hurkacz backhand. Backhand Nadal to the Hurkacz backhand cross court. Who's now taking control of the rally with the backhand. Forehand Hurkacz. Nadal's already there. Passes him. Hurkacz was in no man's land. And there's the Vamos from Rafael Nadal. Who's missed that?
I mean, Nadal was getting further and further and further down in that rally that it was looking pretty bleak for him, obviously trying to save break point. But that backhand pass was vintage.
Yeah, definitely. Just well struck. He saw his opportunity. Almost no look. Focuses on the ball. Puts it in play. And he's absolutely loving it. I was going to say, with a match time, this is not ideal for Rafa. It has to be said.
No.
He does not want a marathon.
No, doesn't want a marathon. That's for sure. But he also just wants to win the match as well, somehow or another.
First serve Nadal is good. Then goes to the backhand off of a deep return from Hurkacz. Awkward more than anything else. They're just trading cross court at the minute. Nadal's on the defense. Hurkacz picks that one off. Nadal's going to go up the line with that. Hurkacz is going to get the ball. Nadal's having to really scrabble back towards it. Inside out forehand from Hurkacz. You could see that from Hurkacz. That's probably one of the best forehands I've ever seen him hit.
I know. I was just going to say that was almost Rafa-esque. His first forehand winner. Rafa's already hit 5. But yeah, I wasn't even sure if it went out at first. But the look on Rafa's face told me very quickly that it had landed in.
I mean, Hurkacz had Nadal all over the court, really moving him around. But I was surprised that Nadal didn't do more with that forehand that he had, that he went up the line with in the mid-court.
True.
But Hurkacz's first forehand winner of the match. It's given him another breakpoint opportunity early on in this game, in this set. And he's going to deal with a Rafa second serve coming towards him. Yeah. So we'll see how we're going to go with that one. Obviously, John already knows how this worked out, but the rest of the world does not. Special privileges from being in Mallorca, which generally is probably true of a lot of things. Forehand for Nadal up the line. Slice from Hurkacz on the forehand. Nadal's going to run around for the forehand winner. Inside out. There we go.
Yeah.
Nice job. Nicely picked up. Gets it done. Juice.
That forehand winner, the professionals, well, Rafa in particular, make look so easy. But for me, I get those balls sometimes and I'm dumping it in the net because it had quite a low bounce on it, you know, and he's pretty close to the net. But to get it up and over, I think is very impressive.
Yeah. No, there's no way I could do anything like that, especially with the pace. That's
Are you saying you're not as good as Rafa, Nick?
Barely as good. I'm barely as good as you, John.
Yeah, we'll have to see one day.
Maybe one day. I think given I lose more tennis matches than I win, I feel like you would have me.
We'll see. 26 minutes on the clock, and we're not even finished the second game.
I did think about this game. How long do you think this match is going to last? I mean, it can't be. It won't be more than 3 hours. It might just be more than 3 hours.
Like I said, you might get some hooey ones that last 45, 50 seconds, you know?
Yep, that's true. So Nadal has got to advantage. It's a 10-minute game, by the way, as he's trying to hold. It'll be interesting to see how things progress if both men have dug themselves out of tricky service games to start the match. So we've got a first serve coming in from Nadal, goes up the tee. Hurkacz returns at the net. Job done, Rafa. He comes out that game. It's breathing a sigh of relief. Both men could have been a breakup. Both men could be up in this match, but it's not. We're at one game all, and I think we're going to be in for a long one.
Rafa's serve getting him out of trouble there. Interestingly, Matt here is asking about Hamad. I'm guessing that means that Medjedovic won today. I saw he was up. He won the first over Djokovic for Kina. So I saw he won the first set 7-6.
6-4 second set.
6-4. Okay. Medjedovic has kind of been off the scene since getting to the finals, or did he win it? He won the next gen, didn't he? Actually, yeah, beating Artifice, and I think he might have
definitely
been injured. Was he injured this?
Yeah, he's been injured this sort of early part of the year. I actually marked him down as someone who could go quite far in this bracket because I was looking at who he could play, and obviously we don't know if Medvedev, like how Medvedev's going to be. Draper, even if Medvedev's fine, Draper might be a threat, and Medjedovic on clay is going to be much more comfortable than either Draper or
Klaverdev.
Or Klaverdev.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're looking at Medjedovic making the last 16 or even maybe even the quarterfinals here in Rome, and so that's his big breakout. So Medjedovic is one that I think we should be watching this tournament.
This third game is going the way, like I said, we might see a few Hubie service games go. Jamie here is remembering the French Open semi-final between Zverev and Nadal, which was 2 sets in 3 hours. I was actually there for that match, and I think Owen was as well, from memory. The one thing I would say, though, about that match is that the roof being closed and it being muggy conditions made that court so slow that basically was the reason why. And I think everyone just kept breaking each other's serves. I think Zverev served for that second set twice before obviously ultimately getting injured at 6-5, I'm going to say. I think it was just before the tiebreak, maybe, in that second set. Yeah.
It was a messy match. I mean, it was
messy,
close.
Very messy.
It was a war, but there was something vague. I found aspects of it entertaining, but I wasn't going to say it would be a quality match.
I mean, the first set tiebreak was 6-2 Zverev, and then obviously I think Nadal winning it 9-7. I'm going to say, with some outlandish shots. You know, some returns of serve, but I think there was quite a few where he was passing Zverev when he was on the run, and yeah. Anyway, 2-1 here. That service game, I'm guessing now has been completed on your screen, and you've seen it go to love.
Down's going to be very welcome for both players.
Yeah. So I've been
by
to
the way, if
Rome.
anyone wants to say what else,
go on.
Yeah, you've been to Rome.
Yeah, I've been to Rome. I was there a year ago. I watched the Rune against Djokovic quarterfinal, I think it was. And it was the same day was Badosa against Ostapenko. Very entertaining match.
Oh, yeah.
And Badosa seemed like in the third set she was struggling a bit, but I thought it was just like tiredness. I remember one image of her after a lengthy rally leaning into, I think it was a flower bed she was leaning into, like after a lengthy rally. Now looking back, because she barely played for the rest of the year after that match, citing back issues. When she was leaning over into that flower bed, I'm pretty sure she was feeling her back at that point.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me because that was when the problems really started to flare up. I mean, actually, she was playing today. Because she was playing against Dinah Schneider in an absolute battle. I actually haven't checked the score. But Badosa came from a set down to beat Schneider today. 5-7, 6-4, 6-4.
Okay, because I saw that she was a set down.
She won it. She's beaten Andreeva and she's beaten Schneider. So she's certainly coming for the Russians in this tournament. Also through, as we said earlier, Iga Swiatek, currently underway on Grandstand Arena. Naomi Osaka's a breakup against Daria Kasatkina, 3-love. And Angie Kerber's got a set against Alexandra Sasnovich on court 12. Kerber having a little bit of a clay renaissance, given that that's not her favourite serve.
I was thinking the word renaissance, but yeah.
By the way, and in the men's results, I was going to say in the men's results, Echeverry's beaten Shapoff-Field in straight sets. Another name I would say to want to watch. I actually think he could make the final. Echeverry.
Echeverry. Okay.
Yeah, Jarry's beaten Arnaldi in straights, and on the court, Tommy Paul's a breakup against Aslan Karatsev.
Okay, some interesting results there. Casper Ruud losing yesterday to Kecmanovic is not something I expected.
No, I could and the thing is, okay, so I turned on. I wasn't able to watch any tennis yesterday, and I just turned on my social media and I scrolled through a bit, and everyone was talking about the Djokovic bottle incident and a couple of other results, and I was like, okay, fair enough. Go and check the scores. Casper Ruud losing to Kecmanovic. No one was really talking about it, and I don't understand why, because that's one of the results of the tournament so far.
Yeah, but listen, so I didn't see the match at all. I think I found out the result because of a text message, I think, or a WhatsApp from Vanch highlighting the result. But I looked at the score, 6-love, 4-6, 4-6, or if you want to go the other way around, 6-4, 6-4 to Kecmanovic. I just looked at that score, and that just seemed like an odd score. So I immediately said, and I know we need to be careful with scores in tennis because they can be deceptive and blah, blah, blah. But I just said, that's a bit of a strange scoreline. Was he okay after the first set? And Vanch said he thought so. But then I also saw somebody on Twitter say that he took a medical timeout either at the end of the first set or the end of the second set. So whether there's any physical issues there for Casper Ruud, I don't know. Because the other thing that stands out, other than the score line, is just Kecmanovic winning. Because I've seen those two play twice in the last 12 months, and they may have played more. But I remember they played in Estoril, and it was super one-sided. I think maybe there was one set that was tight, but basically it was all on Casper's racket. And then I saw them play somewhere this year, but I can't remember where, and I can't even remember what surface. But again, it was a very comfortable win for Casper.
Yeah,
might have been Indian Wells.
Definitely something was off about Casper, whether it's physically or whether he checked out. Maybe he didn't think he needed it. Someone who hasn't checked out is Hubert Hurkacz. He places a forehand just inside the baseline, and Nadal can't even do anything with that. We're at 30 all. But Terry's saying Ruud's back seized up during the warm-up, so that might explain issues he had. Hopefully unseizes for the French Open. Backhand from Hurkacz, the forehand of Nadal, who's going for the Hurkacz backhand again. Backhand Nadal cross court to the Hurkacz forehand, which is looping. Backhand Nadal again. They're going cross court to cross court. Nadal changes it up, goes up the line. Hurkacz then goes up the line, threads the needle, and comes in to finish with the overhead, because that going back behind Nadal did actually catch the Spaniard out, giving Hurkacz the opportunity to put the ball away, and he has a break point to go up in this set.
Yeah. And sort of as this match goes on, those breakpoint opportunities that Rafa had in the first game will become starker if he doesn't hold serve here in particular.
Yeah, because he would have had the momentum, and maybe he wouldn't have had such a tough battle to hold in that opening set. Because you don't know, obviously, we don't know what's going on there. It could be maybe Nadal's brain is fine, his body's not letting him compete right at this point. But we'll figure it out. As Nadal has got a second serve, the first serve was well in the net, indisputably in the net. So it's a second serve opportunity for Rafael Nadal to come up against Hubert Hurkacz for a break point. for the pole. Forehand in play from Hurkacz. It was a safe return. Goes up the line with the backhand. Nadal's going to go for the forehand back behind Hurkacz, who goes cross court. Nadal goes for the bullet up the line. Hurkacz somehow scrambles it. Forehand Nadal again. Now moving Hurkacz to the backhand. Now Nadal's again drop shotting this time. Doing everything he can, but the drop shot does not clear the net. That was the third drop shot from Nadal. It was the third best shot from Nadal. By far the worst one he's played out of the three. And Hurkacz breaks for 3-1.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll have some regrets about that shot selection. Or maybe just more importantly, the execution of it, as you say. I think the other two were successful from memory, weren't they? I think one was an outright winner, and I think another one, maybe he won the point, and then that one, as you say, was just, not good enough.
Yeah, in theory, I think it was a good shout because he'd gone inside out forehand, then he'd gone back behind. So Hurkacz was off balance. So the drop shot wasn't a bad play. But he was playing too close to the net with it.
You're going to see another Rafa fall, by the way. It's nothing bad, by the way. He's all right. But I've got something to say right now because I remember he won the point the other day. And he's having a chat with the umpire about the fall, I think. I mean, it might be just one of those things because I'll need to see the replay of this fall. But I remember he had a fall in 2021 in the final against Djokovic. And he was particularly annoyed about the court. Yeah, I've watched it again. And
he just lost his footing, I think. I think it just slid on the clay. It's slippery. It's much more slippery at this time of day.
Yeah, this one definitely is. It looks like it's just slipped on the clay. But the other two, the one the other day, and then also this one in 2021, he was mad in 2021. He won the point in 2021, funny enough. But it was on the run. I think he was maybe chasing down a short ball or a drop shot from Djokovic. And on the run, he wins the point. But in the middle of a slide, his shoe gets caught in one of the lines, one of the white lines. And he's quite annoyed by the white line because I think some courts they're painted on, such as Roland Garros, so you can easily slide over them. But others, a lot of amateur courts that I'm familiar with, they're sort of nailed in. And I think the one in Rome, at least at that point, was a nailed-in version. So,
that's a wonderful passing shot for Nadal right through Hurkacz. I don't know if it made contact with Hurkacz, but it was right at him. It looked like it went through his legs. I don't think it did because that would have been very scary. But I'm getting the replay up now, and oh my word, that was just a brutal forehand. Perfect. Just went through the gap between the racket and the body of Hurkacz. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Jamie there talking about this foot jamming. Yeah, indeed. He was so annoyed. I thought when he punched the air, he was actually doing it in celebration, but actually he was punching the air in frustration at the fact that he got his foot caught. Anyway, Hubert Hurkacz now has held 2 service games in a row with a loss of just 1 point. That point you just mentioned. And like I say, that first game, I know I keep talking about, I think I'm talking about the first game more than I am the Rafa Nadal Academy. That first game where he had all those chances. And I said at the end of that, I said, well, we can easily see 2 or 3. It might be another set and a half before he gets another breakpoint opportunity, is what I said.
Yeah, for sure. And look, it's one of those if-buts, because you're breaking. I always say, like, early breaks are great if you keep hold of the momentum. The momentum dies off a bit, it ends up not meaning very much. And what we end up with is a situation where it could be even Stevens, like rather than Hurkacz being a break up, they're a break a piece, but you think the momentum's with Hurkacz. I think it could have been crucial. It's one of those if buts and maybes, but I wouldn't put too much stock in it. If it was midway through the first set, different story. I'd be saying it's with him. Oh, yeah. Djokovic is. I've just seen a video that's kind of on the broadcaster showing Djokovic.
I know what you watched. Tell the audience. I know what you've seen, but tell me.
Yeah, so Djokovic has arrived as signing autographs with a bicycle helmet on his head.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. By the way, those who just tuned in, do hit the like button. Go on, Nick.
I've just seen Badosa. They're showing the match point from Badosa, and she is fired up having won that one. She's celebrating like she's made a Grand Slam final, beating Schneider.
So Rafa to serve here, 1-4, 41 minutes, which is ironic given the scoreline. Make sure you do hit the YouTube, subscribe button on YouTube as well. And yeah, join us in the live chat and let us know what you think. There were some comments in the live chat, actually. I was just going to have a quick look at. Caso got his court fought as well in the line, according to Terry. And Djokovic had an issue with a hole in the clay, yeah. I mean, Nadal did seem a little bit annoyed about the clay after that fall. By the way, Dominic, I've not seen you before, but maybe you've been with us before. Do hit the like button, and please, as well, Dominic, if you click that subscribe button just below the screen, that'll be a huge, huge help. I'm just going to go get another coffee. I'll be back in about 2 minutes, all right?
All right. So, yeah, Dominic saying that Hurkacz maybe about to finish Nadal's career. Nah, he won't. This is not going to be Nadal's last match. Pretty confident in that, as we're into a long rally that Hurkacz has got missed with the backhand cross court. I certainly think Hurkacz could maybe boast of being one of the few players who've beaten both Djokovic and Federer and Nadal. Has Hurkacz beaten Djokovic? I think he's given Djokovic some headaches, but I don't know if he's actually managed to beat Novak yet in his career. Not time to look that one up at the minute, but we've got a great backhand cross court to the forehand of Hurkacz. They're going cross court at the minute. No one's really changing direction. Now Hurkacz is still running around his forehand to the Nadal backhand, still trying to pepper that backhand, and then finishes off with a forehand up the line. Nadal was trying to drag him right across court, and Hurkacz just hit that forehand right into space. It's 15 all. So yeah, it's very interesting there. Very, very interesting indeed. Hurkacz is looking to get that double break against Rafael Nadal. But yeah, I'm fully confident that this will not be Nadal's last match, whether he wins or loses this. Nadal going for the entire forehand, he's missed it, 15-30. I think we'll probably see him play Roland Garros, depending on how his body is after this.
I think he will.
I definitely think he'll be at the late, and I think he'll be playing Labour Cup. Anything in between, who knows?
I mean, I think he'd like to play the Olympics. 230. 230.
We bring you live coverage of John ordering a coffee as Rafael Nadal is serving at 15-30, goes back to the Hurkacz backhand, goes for another drop shot. It was right off his feet and puts it in the net, 15-40, and Hurkacz has the opportunity to take real control of the set. Not ideal there for Nadal, who's now in real trouble here. That was I could see what he was trying to do, but that shot from Hurkacz was right at his feet. And he was trying to improvise something, and in the improvisation, there was just not enough net clearance on that ball. So 15-40.
He'll be disappointed though with that. You're right, it was at his feet, it was tricky, but Rafa probably 6-7 times out of 10 at least gets the ball over the net. But anyway, I think Rafa's going to be a bit disappointed with his level since that first game. Yeah, I think. I mean, don't forget Rafa's hold. Wasn't that that was a lengthy hold as well? Like that was what contributed to those first 2 games being so long.
Backhand cross court with a safe break point like that. Yes, I think for sure, and I think that's it's been an absolute battle to hold for Nadal this set. You're right. Whereas Hurkacz kind of came out a bit rusty, and that kind of. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like if Nadal broke and then still struggled to hold serve the entire rest of the match, then that first early break would have kind of been cancelled out quite quickly. But let's see if he saves this break point. He's got another drop shot, which he kind of just immediately knows is not going to work. Angren slapped away the second ball. Job done for Hurkacz. He's going to be serving at 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, that reaction from Rafa was quite uncharacteristic. I mean, I think he whacked his racket against his leg in anger, because of course that's 2 drop shots now that's seen him get broken serve twice. I think that was both on break point. I think. I
think like basically 2 drop shot attempts in this game. Cost him a couple of points.
We've seen him double breaks down in Rome before and win matches. I think Shapovalov springs to mind in 2021. I think he was a double breakdown in one of the sets that he ended up winning, maybe the first. And I think he was also saving match points, I think, in that match. And when Shapovalov was serving for it, that was a real humdinger. I think as well, 2022. Okay, it was Indian Wells, but I remember him being a double breakdown in the third set there against Sebi Korda. Yes.
He was. There's a drop shot from Hurkacz, which again bounces too high, and Rafa runs down and passes him. Love 15. I mean, it has to be said that Nadal has a 25 to 50% success rate with these drop shots. Hubert Hurkacz so far 0%.
Well, that's a nice thing for him to be winning one stat anyway. But yeah, he's obviously not happy with his level overall at the moment.
No, I mean, how much of this is down to, because the thing I've noted from this match is Hurkacz's defense. I mean, I guess it makes sense because he is a big serving counterpuncher in the same sort of mold as Zverev and Medvedev, as Hurkacz actually hits a sort of overhead backhand winner at the net, in all. But yeah, the defense from Hurkacz, I think that's probably contributing a little bit to Rafa not being able to hit through him, which is then
just a second, because you're going to see a shot now from Rafa.
Oh wow!
And it is a winner. It is a winner. There's going to be a debate about. You're going to see for the next 30 seconds a debate about whether it landed in or not. But it did. It did land in just. You're going to see a Hawkeye shot of it as well, where it shows about a millimeter landing in. But yes, it's just another incredible passing shot from Rafa.
Yeah, Nadal kind of always dragged out wide. He just goes for the Rafa cross-court special that clips the line.
He didn't even celebrate it because I don't think he knew whether it landed in or not. But in the end, it is going to get called in.
Yeah, I'm about to see the replay coming up. Yeah, that is the kind of shot you immediately associate with Rafael Nadal.
I've got some good news and bad news for Rafa fans, like in terms of his level. Okay, we can all see the bad news in terms of the score. But the good news is that actually when his level is, it's not like his level is a 4 out of 10 throughout the match. Some rallies he's 9 out of 10, and then others he's just way off. But that's in a way that lack of consistency is easier to fix than just being way off throughout, if that makes sense. Like if he was constantly like that, yeah,
like that. Exactly your point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe I was making the point because I'd already seen it.
Probably, yes. And again, it's another 9 and 10 rally from Nadal. He's bringing up break points on the Hurkacz serve. I don't think he's had back-to-back break points on the Hurkacz serve. That could be.
No, I think he had. I think he just had one, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has. Great serve from Hurkacz though to open up the court. Nadal's going to still scramble that one back. Hurkacz is going to go inside out forehand to save the first. 30-40. Yeah, Ghosty. Hubert and Rafa have never played before. Terry's saying that the Hawkeye was showing the Nadal's inside out forehand incredible shot was actually a millimeter out.
Oh, okay. Was that what the Hawkeye was showing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a millimeter out.
Okay, so Rafa got lucky there.
A little bit lucky. Not lucky there, though, because it's a serve from her. It's an ace from Hurkacz to save the second break point.
Hurkacz has saved 7 from 7 so far. So there's been 7 break points on the Hubie serve, and they've all been saved.
Which is impressive. And then if you think about 5 of them were just from that first game alone.
Yeah.
That first game, definitely an opportunity for Nadal to get a bit of a stronger foothold in this match. It's another great serve from Hurkacz there. He's got the +1 overhead, and now he has set point 5-1. The kitchen is pretty shocked right now. Everything's being dropped as we have advantage for Hubert Hurkacz in Rome. Hurkacz serves, but finding play from Nadal. Hurkacz going to scramble the forehand back. Nadal tries to pick up the backhand, puts it in the net, and it's game Hurkacz 6-1 to the number 7 seed, the world number 9.
There was a set from Rafa, I think it was the first one against Zizou Bergs the other day when he hit just 3 winners in the whole first set, and he lost that first set, I think 6-4. But today he's hit 14 winners, and yet he's been handily beaten in that first set. But yes, I mean, basically, yeah, I know I keep saying, but I think it was all about the first game. Losing that first game, and then couldn't break in that game, and then okay, he has another couple of chances at the end. But even if he did take one of those break points just now, he'd still obviously be a breakdown, and there we are. So anyway, just back to the roof, because I mentioned it right at the beginning of the show, and I'm kind of not for it because I think the weather is, in my memory, in my lifetime, I can only remember 1 year when the tournament was severely affected by weather, and that was last year. There might be another year in there, and somebody do let me know in the live chat if they can remember like a particular year in the last sort of 20 odd years that's been affected. But the other thing I would say is aesthetically, it does have an effect. It doesn't look quite so, beautiful. It's also not the easiest thing just to, dump a roof on a stadium. So who knows what will happen in the sort of next 12 months. I mean, I think Wimbledon took a couple of years. If you remember, there was that Wimbledon final, I'm going to say in 06 or 07, and it looked like a weird Wimbledon final because it was really open, the stadium, because they were in the middle of putting the roof on. And then finally, it's expensive, and if you said to me 30 million quid, what would you do with it, John? Would you put a roof on Rome? I'd say no, I'd put it in the bank account.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, like, especially with the aesthetics. Like, other stadiums I've seen, even Grand Slam ones, I don't think the design of the stadiums were damaged by
agree.
the roof.
But Rome is a bit different.
If you
go back to the aerial view, it's an old stadium as well, and that's the whole thing is old, and we quite like that, the statues and stuff. By the way, Ghosty, you did make me laugh with the dish room of the Radisson comment. Ghosty obviously doesn't know where I am, but maybe I shouldn't tell him. Maybe there's a punishment for being late. I'm not going to mention it anymore.
I mean, we're going to find out at some point, right?
Well, hopefully you'll hear a few cheers. There haven't been many cheers, obviously, so far because it's been a pretty miserable day for Rafa, but that might give you a clue. I'm not in Rafa's living room, but I'm probably not far away.
Terry saying apparently there are plans.
Yeah, I saw that. Rafa's having a chat with Carlos Moya right now. I don't know what they're chatting about, but basically win some more points.
We're being brought a result from the doubles as Marcelo Milo and Alexander Zverev have lost to Alexander Bublik and Ben Shelton, 10-7 in the deciding set tiebreak.
Bublik and Shelton, that's an interesting combo.
Yeah, especially on clay.
Well, yeah, but I just think it's an interesting combo in terms of their personalities. Is that their first tournament together? Because I don't recall seeing that pair together before.
I think they were going to play at Madrid.
Okay. No. Maybe they did. I don't know.
It's relatively new, yeah. Just looking at what else is happening. Tommy Paul is about to serve for the first set against Aslan Karatsev. Jerry Shang's underway against Napolitano on Pietrangeli. Naomi Osaka has just broken Kasatkina again. He lost her break advantage, but now she's regained it in her other match. So she's going to be serving at 5-3. And Angie Kerber has a breakdown the second set to Alexander Sasnovich. So that one's turning into a bit of a battle. We're back on court in Centre Court in Rome, which currently does not have a roof and looks fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I am on the roof debate.
Yeah, Ghosty. By the way, I did not see Montero's tweener lob. I've been very out of the loop the last few days.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it is nuts. Yeah. Someone there saying they're supporting Nadal, Andres, but the rival is, or Hurkacz is obviously a difficult opponent. Andres, si podrías suscribir, sería genial, gracias. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the roof. I just asked them to subscribe.
Yeah. I figured that out. Subscribe, something very similar to subscribe.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Another face. You're going to see another face from Rafa.
Could be interesting. All right, I'll have a look. Yeah, he kind of... That was a short first serve. That was let. That's why.
No, but you're going to see a forehand. You're going to see a forehand error anyway from Rafa. It just goes long, and yeah, he's not happy at the moment.
No, I mean, it does have to be said. Out of the two, the Nadal's the one more likely to break down at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I thought Ruud against Djokovic quarterfinal. Had I looked at their quarters and I thought, yeah, I think there shouldn't be too many problems for either player getting to the quarterfinal. And Kaspar's gone. I've actually gone for Zverev to win the title, but I didn't really know who to choose. Yeah, he's had some decent results in Rome in the past. He underperformed, in my opinion, in Argentina. Sorry, in Madrid, where I think he lost to Cerundolo in straights. Yeah, listen, but to be honest with you, it was almost like pulling a straw out of a hat. I don't even know if that's an expression or not, but I didn't really know who to go for. I had no conviction about anyone. Now, having seen Djokovic, I did actually watch his first set yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he was a breakdown in that first set, but from the minute he broke back, it was one-way traffic. Yeah, maybe he should be the rightful favourite.
For me, yeah, it was always Djokovic. Looking at the draw and who was in it, he's miles ahead. I think he was miles ahead of in terms of prospects compared to anyone else in the draw. And I have to say that also his record in Rome, I mean, it's one of the places he's been most successful at in his career.
True.
Overall.
True.
Yeah, Rome's been basically would have been about Djokovic and Nadal for the last few years, like decade or so.
Yeah, so last year, obviously, the final saw neither of them there. But was that like the first final in a long time without either Djokovic or Nadal?
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was like 17 years in a row or something nuts, wasn't it?
It was something ridiculous like that, yeah, because 22, I think Djokovic was in it.
Yeah, he won it.
Yeah, 21 was Djokovic and Nadal. 2020 was Djokovic.
Schwartzman, yeah.
Yeah, 19, I think, was Nadal. 18 was Nadal. No, 18 was Nadal. 17, Djokovic was in the final, lost to Zverev.
Okay.
16, Djokovic was in the final, lost to Murray. 15, Djokovic, because I'm pretty sure that was one of Djokovic's insane run of getting to the final of almost every Masters and Grand Slam that he played.
Okay.
14, Djokovic and Nadal. 13, pretty sure that was Nadal winning it.
Is this from your memory? Do you know this, or are you looking at it somewhere?
I'm looking off this is from memory.
This is from memory?
This is from memory.
Wow. I'm very impressed because, I mean, Grand Slam, sure, but I can't tell you Masters finals that far back.
I can't do that with all of them. Only because I recently looked it up and I think this was noteworthy. Yeah, 2012, Nadal won it. 2011 was a Djokovic Nadal final. 2010, Nadal won it because that was during his insane clay run. Pretty sure Nadal won in 2009. Yeah, it's been a long time. I think you have to go back to 2004 where it didn't feature one of them before that Rune Medvedev final last year.
Just checking that 2009 because I remember he got to the final in Madrid in 2009, Rafa, but I think he lost the final.
He did win it before Madrid that year.
He lost to Federer. He lost to Federer, did he, in 2009 in the final?
He did in Madrid.
Yeah, in Madrid. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but he'd won Monte Carlo and Rome going into it. I think he'd beaten Djokovic in both those matches.
Win. He did beat Djokovic in 2009, yeah, in the final in Rome, yeah.
By the way, we're kind of into Nadal's trying to find a way of holding serve for the first time in about half an hour.
I haven't seen Nadal this agitated in a long time. I mean, I know he's been injured, obviously, the last couple of years a lot, but he's very frustrated at the moment.
Yeah, you can tell. I think that Hurkacz is like he's not really hitting through Hurkacz at the minute, and that's going to be frustrating him. And by the way, Terry, I think the kitchen will probably fire John because he's currently sat watching tennis instead of doing his job.
I've actually been fired from a restaurant after 25 minutes before. That's pretty impressive, no? It was a restaurant in London.
I could fully see a restaurant doing that. Not with you specifically, just with anyone.
Yeah, they fired me after 25 minutes. I'm just trying to think how to tell this story very quickly. Basically, I should have learned where all the tables were, like the table numbers and stuff. And I didn't. Turned up thinking I'll learn on the job, and I still didn't. And the final straw was, that's the expression, the final straw. That is a real expression. Straw in a hat, no. Anyway, the final straw was, it was a Mexican restaurant, and it was one of these sizzling dishes on like a frying pan that you had to pick up by the handles with a couple of dishcloths, so to speak, or tablecloths or tea cloths, anyway, whatever. And I picked it up, fine, put it on the table, and burned the table because I forgot the wooden plinth. There's a wooden plinth. I'd left it behind, and it was supposed to protect the table from the frying pan, if you like, or the sizzling pan. And that was the final straw. I mean, I had been, it wasn't like the first error. It was one of several. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Another straw phrase for you. But there we go. So that was me getting fired from a restaurant after 25 minutes. Good news for Rafa Nadal is he's not been fired from this match just yet because he's held serve.
Yeah, manages to get the last straw from Hurkacz, who shanked the forehand. So,
yeah. That was a Mexican restaurant in London. It's near Covent Garden, and I'm trying to remember the name of the restaurant now. I'm going to have a quick look.
I mean, is this so that people avoid the restaurant?
You can go there and maybe mention me. I don't think they'll remember. I've actually been there since to eat, and I did sort of reference it at some point to the waitress or something, and she seemed very disinterested, so we quickly moved on. Mexican restaurant, Covent Garden.
I mean, yeah. Now you're going to get all kinds of recommendations for when you're next back in London for Wimbledon.
Cafe Pacifico. There we go. Yeah, I knew I'd recognize the name as soon as I saw it. So, yeah, I went and took a selfie outside that restaurant as well a few years later as well, just to sort of say, here we go. That's the restaurant I got fired from after 25 minutes. I got a job in another restaurant shortly after, and everything was fine. But that was it was another Mexican restaurant. I was looking for Spanish speaking restaurants at the time to try and maintain my Spanish, which was sort of a beginner's level at the time, and I found another one outside of. Obviously, I did when I went to the second restaurant. They didn't ask me about experience, and I didn't mention the previous experience, of course. That's not on the CV.
You've learned from that experience. Nadal's probably hoping he could learn how to return Hubert Hurkacz's serve, but I think trying to return 226 km/h serve is probably difficult for anyone.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave you. Fingers crossed it's a good match, and enjoy.
Ciao, John. Well, hello everyone. So we've had anecdotes galore on this stream so far. Gosh, I can hear birds singing. It's probably because I can't hear all the noise from the Rafael Nadal Academy, which obviously is not as noisy as it could be, given that Nadal is currently not winning, and Hurkacz has held serve for 1-1, and currently Hurkacz has played a grand total of what would it be like 5 service games, and he's only been threatened in 2 of them. Actually, that's not a good success rate. Still better than Nadal's, who has played 4 service games and has been threatened in all of them. Much like the opposite of the drop shot stat I said earlier, where Nadal at least has been effective on at least 25% of his drop shots, but Hubert Hurkacz has not been effective on any of his. So essentially what Nadal needs to hope is that Hubert Hurkacz tries to drop shot him whilst returning his serve. But Nadal is currently at 1-1 in this set, and it's a double fault first of the match. This is not great from Rafa, and I can see why he's frustrated. I do think Hurkacz is doing an excellent job of challenging him, and Nadal's level is not quite at a place where he can deal with that challenge. If this match was being played even like 2 years ago, maybe not 2, but like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I think Nadal would be rising to the challenger, would be a tie break now. But this is very different. As Hurkacz is actually putting Nadal under pressure. It's going to come behind a forehand, forces the error from Nadal, goes into the net. It's love 30. By the way, Ghosty, I know you were asking if I'm sick. I'm not, as far as I'm aware, but I might be getting sick. I'm wondering if it's just hay fever, to be honest. I was out in the garden this morning. Completely agree with you, Ghosty. I think Medjedovic is a dark horse in Rome. I think he's... I was saying this to John earlier. I think he's a favourite against either Medvedev or Draper in the next round. By the way, that match follows this one on court. As we get find out the line from Nadal, and Hurkacz is putting under pressure, going back behind him, still peppering the Nadal backhand. Hurkacz is going to come in, but the passing attempt for Nadal is too good. Hurkacz got a racket on it, but he did leave the door open, and Nadal took advantage, 15-30. Yeah, I don't know why if I have allergies, these are a new thing because I never used to have them, but maybe it's because I'm getting old. But yeah, going back to your Medjedovic point, Medvedev, for me, I think is a heavy favourite to make at least the last 16. I can even see him making the quarters. Although he's got Echeverry in his section, I think Echeverry is someone I'm looking at potentially making the final here in Rome. Yeah, that is your controversial. That he's like the ultimate dark horse pick to be an actual threat to really go deep in the tournament. Whereas I can see Medjedovic actually, being that. So Nadal's going to come in behind. Shot goes for the overhead, gets the job done. It's 30 all. So gets himself back to level terms in this game. But yeah, maybe this is something I'm dealing with later in life. The slight husky nature of my voice at this time of year could be an age thing. As I am now no longer in my 20s. I celebrated my 30th birthday last weekend, so I'm expecting my back to start hurting at any minute, to be honest. 30 all. Nadal goes up wide with the first serve, but it's wide, so we're going to start again. We're going to get going again here. Second serve. Absolutely love this stadium, by the way. It looks absolutely epic. Only Rome could build something that genuinely looks like a gladiatorial arena. Back as a double fault from Nadal. That was either a let or a double fault. We're looking at the umpire now. We're not changing side yet. Thanks, guys. My birthday was last week, but I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to give the exact date away. But yes. Bringing it backhand in play from Hurkacz, now going cross court to cross court at the minute. Back Hurkacz 400, the Nadal backhand still trading at the minute. The Nadal backhand's looped over the baseline, and it's a break point from Hurkacz, and Hurkacz has been in every single Nadal service game. Right now, yeah, that was a bit of a shanked backhand from Nadal. Not happy with that. And yeah, it does have to be said that going toe to toe, Nadal's not really accelerating through. He's not there's a couple of points that he's couple of points where he has produced some mega shots, but yeah, other than that, he's not really been fully firing. But I have to say also Hurkacz has done a very good job of keeping himself in every single rally. Nadal's going to come into the net. Hurkacz goes for the pass, clips off the top of the net and goes past Nadal, and Hurkacz breaks, and he is well in control of this match. 6-1, 2-1. It's a bit of a tough comeback, Ghosty. I mean, personally, I would have been... look, all I can say is that Igor's already treated me to a birthday win. Wasn't the exact day, but I think that Madrid win for Igor fell perfectly. But yes, this would be an ideal time of year for a Nadal fan to have their birthday in previous years. Maybe not so much now. Yeah, I agree with you, Ghosty. I think there's not a lot. I think Nadal is Nadal is someone I would always have said never count him out, but I think this version of Nadal was kind of the man who's lost a little bit of his magic. This is going to be an uphill battle for Rafa, I think. Very different vibe here too in Madrid. Seeing some clips of what's going on around other courts as Angie Kerber is trying to get this done in straight sets. Sasnovich was a breakup in the second, but they're back to 5-all. Dominic Kopfer and Francis Tiafoe have literally just started. And I had to say, actually, I hadn't realized that literally the courts were right next to each other. It's very sort of old school, that setup. Napolitano is a breakup against Jerry Shang. Tommy Paul is set up against Aslan Karatsev, but Karatsev has break points early in the second. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then in the women's, we were talking about Kerber just now. Osaka's a set the breakup against Kasatkina on clay. Who'd have thought? Right? That's not a result I was necessarily expecting. We're into a rally here, by the way. As Nadal goes cross court, tries to accelerate through the backhand, puts it in the net. And he's looking frustrated again. Really tried to go for that shot. It didn't quite work out. Paul safe break point is now at advantage against Karatsev. So he's digging himself out of trouble and trying to make a big impact here in Rome is the American. Forehand from Nadal on the return, puts it into the net. Another net shot. Trying to work out what that vibration was, but that's actually my device. So yeah. Yes, Matthew agreed. I mean, and to be honest, if I wasn't commentating on this, I would definitely be watching Osaka. Hurkacz at 30 love, benefiting a little bit from Nadal, but he makes his own luck with that point with an excellent forehand winner up the line, 40 love. And it has to be said, like, watching this, like, every time I watch Hurkacz, I'm like, why doesn't he hit through his forehand more often than he does? Because when he does, it's actually really effective. Perfect serve from Hurkacz, clips the line. You can see the dust flying up. And it's game Hurkacz. He holds to love, and it's 6-1, 3-1. Pressure back on Nadal. Pressure back on Rafael Nadal. I have lost my scores, which is not helpful to me right now. Here we go. I might see how this match is going out. Oh, Angie Kerber is now serving for the match at 6-3, 6-5. Kerber doing better on clay than maybe she did in previous years. Nadal serves. Hurkacz puts the return into the net. Terry, the Masters in Saudi in January 2025. I mean, it's one of those things that has been talked about, but the momentum's kind of stalled with that one. The appetite seems to have died away a bit for it, particularly in light of sort of the Premier Tour talks. We'll have to see. I think there's kind of we'll have to see, but I think they're just really struggling to kind of open a space up on the calendar. And where they're talking about putting it in January, I think Australia will do something about it. Luigi Gatto is not a source I take seriously. Uh, 15-all. Nadal having just lost that last point. So yeah, 15-all is going to be serving. Goes for the body serve. Now he follows up with a forehand cross court. Hurkacz really scrambling that one. Nadal tries to go back towards the Hurkacz backhand and then finishes off with that forehand volley. Hurkacz can't quite reach it. It's too low to the ground. It's 30-15. Matthew, I understand what you're saying about Bolter. What I will say is that Bolter has very limited clay court experience, which I know sounds crazy given like she's a well-established player. She's in her mid-20s, but this is her first year where she's playing at tour level on clay. So I'm not massively surprised that there's some adjustment. And also her game doesn't really work on clay in the same way. I expect to be back to being a threat when we hit the grass courts. 40-15, Nadal actually hits a brutal serve. Aces for a brutal serve is actually an ace, his first in the match for Nadal. He's going to try and hope to get his third game on the board. This will be the first service game where he's not been tested. He's not had to face break points. Another serve, but it's too good. No, it's not. It's a let. No, it's too good. It's hard to follow, but yeah, I thought it looked too good. Hurkacz looked like he was hitting the point. Nadal straying back to his chair, held to 4-15, and that's his best service game of the match. 3-2, still keeping the pressure up on Hurkacz. Yeah, but that Badossa's still kind of recovering from that, and it would be interesting sort of a year on from when the problem's really hitting, if she's kind of back to something like a competitor. I think that would be really good for her. The stress fracture in the back, that's obviously what Hira Lehechka's got, so that's not necessarily great if you are looking at Lehechka and the hopes that he has for being competitive on the tour. If Badossa was struggling for as long as she had with that, if Lehechka might be facing a long road back, which is a shame given that Madrid run was a real kind of breakthrough for him. By the way, looks like I'm getting updates from the women's games, and Osaka's conceded the break in the second set to Kasatkina, but now she's got 3 break points to break again to re-establish the break advantage. And this is a messy match with Kasatkina by the look of it, whilst Kerber failed to serve her match out at 6-5 in the second and is and is now in a tiebreak with Sasnovich. Matthew, disagree. Sorry, I don't think 120 is not the one. Sramskova is a much more confident clay court player. I think there are just players out there who need. I think Bolter just doesn't have the clay experience. I fully saw this coming. This first round loss. I fully saw this coming, and until Kerber gets Bolter gets some reps in on clay, and maybe sort of builds up some more confidence experience on that surface, then that's when I will take her seriously as a contender on here. But until then, she's only going to be all about hard and grass courts, and I wouldn't back her to win a clay court match unless it was like someone ranked outside the top 200 or 300. And that's not a slight against Bolter, by the way. That's just lack of experience. It's not necessarily her fault. It's not necessarily a flaw with her. I'm fully behind Kenin doing well here, by the way, because she seems to love it in Rome. I think I put a tweet out saying that. She's beaten Hubert. She's obviously matching her performance from last year. Something about Rome and slow clay, like Kenin seems to like. And up for the idea of Kenin being a factor in this tournament. Hurkacz serving, he's at 39% of serves unreturned. He adds that number with an ace, 40 love. I will say, Matthew, though, I didn't watch the Bolter match. It's just not a surprise to me. So you may well be right that she just didn't. She could have been in the second set, but yeah, too late. Unreturnable serve from Hurkacz. Game 4-2. Other players, Betty, you're asking about other players that were not sure about playing in Roland Garros. I know about the women's side, so I know that Mukova's not playing, and it doesn't look like Pegula's going to play. On the men's side, I mean, obviously, I think Sinner and Alcaraz are probably going to play. It would be. Although Ghostie's saying Sinner's not committed, like there is a scenario I could see where, like, it depending on their injuries, they may not play. There's question marks there. There's question marks there. I'm trying to think about who else is involved, who's injured. A couple of people pulled out, I think, of the draw here in Rome. No, that's the women's side again. I'm not so close to the ATP side, but Cilic has not really been a factor for a while, has to be said. Nadal serves and the Hurkacz returns into the net, 30 love. And I don't know whether Hurkacz has taken down the intensity or whether his return's becoming inconsistent or whether Rafa's sort of found a rhythm with the serve. But so far, so positive. But maybe it's a little bit too late in this match for Rafa. We'll have to see. Ghosty, that is not a surprise on multiple levels that Kyrgios is not playing RG. Backhand from Nadal to the forehand of Hurkacz, who tries to go on the attack. Again, I don't know. I think that was the attempt at a drop shot, but again, it was so high. Nadal just easily ran it down. It's 40 love. Can he hold to love now and get a somehow even more positive service game than the previous one he had? We will have to see. Kids in the crowd celebrating, seeing how good Rafa is. First up into the net from Nadal. 1 hour, 23 minutes on the clock. Nadal wanting to get this game done and keep the pressure up on Hurkacz, although potentially, try and make Hurkacz have a couple more service games, get into those. He's had opportunities, but it's a really tough net as well. Just sort of clear, most obvious let I think I've ever seen. Just sort of bounces really high. Yeah, I agree, Matthew. The Hubert Hurkacz drop shot has not been the thing that's been winning him matches today. The match today. Backhand from Hurkacz in play. Backhand Nadal up the middle. Forehand Hurkacz on Nadal. Backhand cross court. And Hurkacz under pressure puts that into the net. And Nadal walks back to his chair. 4-3 behind. But Hurkacz now having to continue to deliver a high standard of serving. We know the way he's not serving well, Nadal's in his service games. Hasn't managed to break. He had 7 chances to break, 7 break points in the last set, 5 of them in the opening game. But Nadal does have, but Nadal could make himself an opportunity and get himself back on level terms in this set. And then that's when the match gets really interesting. Matthew, do you think a Hubie choke is more likely than a Rafa renaissance? Could see the scenario where Hubie does nothing wrong and Nadal just plays incredibly well. Hits 4 returns that are just absolutely stonking and puts Hurkacz on the back foot. It's a possibility anyway. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye a lot on Rome at the minute because the results are going to not only, I think, as of especially next week, because the results from next week, the rankings that will come out on Monday, the 20th of May, will not only decide the Roland Garros seeds, both the men's and the women's draws, but also will decide the Wimbledon entry list. We'll decide who's going to get the automatic spaces in Wimbledon, who's going to be in the qualifying. Now, obviously, PRs do come into it. It's not, they didn't mess too much with their Roland Garros draw. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see who can chase down a spot in the top 104. I'll try and keep everyone who follows me on social media up to date as much as possible. Worth looking at that. Double fault from Hurkacz. Interesting way to start that game. Love 15. And maybe he is going to present Nadal with opportunities to break. There's not a lot of faith in Hubert Hurkacz's mentality from Matthew. Ghosty's a little bit more positive. Great serve from Hurkacz, and then follows up with a cross-court forehand winner. 15-all. That was a very stable play from Hurkacz. So far in set 2, Hurkacz has hit 8 first serves. He's won all of those points. Well, first serve points won anyway. He's had 8 points on his first serve. Second serve, though, for Nadal to get a racket on, which he does. Then forehand back behind Nadal to the backhand, looped up. Hurkacz is going to go for the inside out forehand, which Nadal reaches with his forehand. Backhand cross court from Hurkacz. Nadal forehand, which Nadal puts in the net. That would be a dangerous play against prime Nadal. This is not prime Nadal, though. It's 30-15. Nadal's definitely not going to be happy with that. You can see his expression on his face. He's looking very frustrated figure out there. Feels like he should be much more competitive in this match. But he is playing a top 10 player right now in Hubert Hurkacz. Yes, he's been a top 10 player recently, Alex de Minaur in Spain. There's sort of mitigating factors in that. But I think it was still a good win overall for Nadal, who drops shots, tries to drop shot, but it goes in the net. It's 40-15. And he's stamping his foot because that drop shot looked like being the right play, but maybe it was their net was just a little bit too high for where he tried to play it from. And Hurkacz has now got an opportunity to get himself a game away from winning this match. But he's going to have to do it on a second serve if he's going to close it out on this point. Hubert Hurkacz. Served at the tee. Forehand from the down. Forehand Hurkacz cross court. Backhand the down to the Hurkacz. Forehand he's run around it. Forehand the down to the backhand of Hurkacz up the line. Backhand the down cross court is wide. And Hurkacz fist pumps. It's 5-3 to the pole, who could be about to notch up a victory against Rafael Nadal and add it to his victory against Roger Federer. Both with the context, of course, that both of them were wounded out. He's beaten them when they've been wounded giants, where they've been brought low. But he's handled the situation very, very well. It's a gorgeous site in Rome, possibly one of the best tennis sites out there. A lot of history here in Rome, which has been on the tour, or it's been an event, the Italian Open, since 1930. Backhand cross court from Hurkacz, forcing an error from Nadal on the forehand, love 15. Matthew, there's still chance for Rafa's baby and Daniel's baby to play together. I don't know, depends. I don't think he's going to rush away. Daniel's on court next, by the way, against Jack Draper. Slice. It was unfortunately it's a let for Nadal on that serve, which is a shame because there was a bit of venom behind it. Hurkacz still got it back in play though, but I think it's because the pace got taken off it by that net cord. Now it's having to readjust. Goes for the first serve again at love 15. Backhand from Hurkacz into the net, 15-all. Great opportunity for great from Nadal. 159 kilometers an hour. There's like 70 kilometers an hour difference between 60, 70 kilometers an hour difference between his serve and Hurkacz's. Unsurprisingly, so he's obviously pushing up through the hip is really restricting him. First serve is long from Rafael Nadal. Second serve, he wants to be out there in Roma just that little bit longer. Just that little bit longer. Backhand from Hurkacz just clears the net. Backhand cross court from Nadal. Hurkacz's forehand is scooped up and over the baseline, and it's 30-15 for Rafael Nadal. Try and make Hurkacz serve this out. And then we see if nerves play a part to try and put away Rafael Nadal on clay in Italy. So not quite as hostile as playing him in Spain or France, but still a daunting prospect, especially given how much success Nadal's had over the years. Backhand to the Hurkacz backhand. Backhand cross court from Nadal is long. It's 30-all. Hope you do well, Ghosty, in your doubles match. I think I'm expecting you to be an absolute monster out there on court. To be honest, this match might be over soon anyway. Potentially 2 points away from the end. This is really going to depend on the outcome of this Nadal point. Spaniards serving. Backhand in play from Hurkacz. Forehand Nadal to the Hurkacz backhand cross court. Forehand again Nadal. Hurkacz is going to go up the line with his backhand. Nadal's having to scramble that one back in play, which gives Hurkacz a forehand on the front foot, which he puts away. And it's match point Hubert Hurkacz, 30-40. And I think that point kind of exemplifies the match. Nadal trying to move things around. Hits the Hurkacz backhand. Hurkacz finds a way of changing things up. He absorbs everything Nadal throws at him. Finds a way of hitting into Nadal's backhand corner up the line, which works, giving him the opportunity to get on the front foot and put the shot away with the forehand in this case. But the backhand's been working for him pretty well as well. Hurkacz has definitely been living with whatever Nadal's been throwing at him. Match point, Hubert Hurkacz. Backhand in play, forehand Nadal's looped up and over the baseline. And that was a tame way for Nadal's last match in Rome to end. He strides to the net, begrudgingly accepting the situation, shakes Hurkacz's hand. It's still some warmth between the two men. Hurkacz knows that he's through and he knows that, well, for once when he wins, being a top 10 player, he's not the center of the story. It is about Nadal. Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew. I thought it might be a battle. Maybe Nadal just couldn't live up to it. And I think those two games that took about 25 minutes that just took a lot of Nadal's energy. And if he'd broken and then got some momentum behind him, maybe we had a first set. But, you know, given how much trouble he was having breaking Hurkacz's serve, I still think Hurkacz could have pulled off a comeback win. I definitely think that first couple of games decided how competitive the match would be. Hurkacz packing stuff away. He's about to be interviewed. I don't want to take anything away from the performance because I think his defense was superb today. Betty, yeah, you were right. You were realistic. And about it, you did go in kind of thinking that it would be a Hurkacz win, hoping otherwise. But yeah, just looking at that, like the unforced error count, Nadal hit 10 more unforced errors in the match. But even if you look at the rest of it, like Hurkacz hitting 46 positive points compared to Nadal's 33. No goodbye ceremony, no Terry. Interestingly enough, it's Nadal's off the court, so maybe the Italians not as nostalgic for Nadal compared to the Spanish. Well, probably wouldn't be compared to the Spanish. I think the French will give us something a bit more solid. I guess now it's going to come down to, depending on the Nadal's draw, how's it going to do over best of 5? How is Rafael Nadal going to do over best of 5 at Roland Garros? I think it's going to have a lot to do with his opponent, to be honest. Nadal's now walking away. There's a montage being played by Sky on my screen, so it's time for me to switch that off, and maybe it's time for me to go and get some food. But yeah, after what promised to be a bit of a barnstorming match, it's kind of fizzled out a little bit, but hey, that's what we could, I guess what we could say when Nadal plays a top 10 player. Keep an eye on the channel. There'll be more to come from Rome in the coming week or so. Obviously, lots of drama to come, and we will, and of course, we will be continuing to build up towards Roland Garros. There'll be more behind-the-scenes content coming. I'm sure John will bring us content from Rafael Nadal Academy. That has to be the reason he's there. It's that, or he just fancied a pilgrimage. Terry, Betty, Ghosty, Matthew, and everyone else who's joined. I don't know if you're all still here. And Jane, yes, who finished up to say, yes, the serve is a big issue for Rafa right now. And that's probably where he's vulnerable, because at the minute he's being picked off by it. Yeah, talk to me on X if you want to. You can follow me on X. I will put up I can put up my handle for you. Anyone who's interested, if you want to follow me. Although I think, Betty, you already do that. And it's nice to actually know your name, because I just know you by your Belgian tennis moniker. I had a lot of fun talking with Cohen Bergs about Juju's chances of being in the Roland Garros main draw. Actually, may need to look and see what his chances of being in the Wimbledon main draw are, because he's so close to that top 100. So maybe I'll just do that for you before you go, unless you already left. No, you're still here. Excellent. Right, let's see if I can look this up for you, just as a favor before I sign off. Obviously, Nadal probably a long way away from an automatic entry, but at least he's still got his protected ranking. Okay, so looking at live rankings, Monday, Juju Bergs is actually looking set to make his top 100 debut, depending on how other results go. There are other players who could disrupt that, prevent that from happening. But it would have to rely on all of them having a good day, to be honest. All of them having good runs, but sort of the results to keep an eye on will be from players like Jerry Shang, Botic van Zandschulp, James Duckworth, Alexandru Muller, Adam Walton, and Terence Admani. Also Medjedovic and Napolitano, potentially. But yeah, potentially plays Bordeaux. But certainly Juju Bergs giving himself a good opportunity to be in the fight for an automatic Wimbledon place next week. Someone else who's in the fight is still in the fight is Hubert Hurkacz. He's in the fight for the Rome title. How realistic a contender he is debatable, but he is through into the next round of Rome. I'm going to quickly see what else is happening around the grounds. Naomi Osaka is through. She beats Daria Kasatkina 6-3, 6-3, and that's a big win for Osaka, given her history with clay. Beating someone like Kasatkina is very, very impressive. Kerber also through in straight sets, 6-3, 7-6. Paula Badosa got through during this match. And let's have a look and see what's happening. Let's see if I can get the men's scores up, because they failed me before. No, they're working now. Dominic Kopfer's a break-up against Francis Tiafoe. Jerry Shang and Napolitano are actually locked at 5-all first set. Tommy Paul is a game away from making it through against Aslan Karatsev in straight sets. We know Medjedovic is through. And, well, the crowds on centre court are going to be waiting for Jack Draper and Daniil Medvedev to be starting their match. Lots of exciting tennis still to come in Rome, and hopefully you'll join us again to see what next chapter of the story we will be bringing you on Talking Tennis. So keep an eye out. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And hopefully I'll see you again at some point. But in the meantime, well, what can I say? I can trust you guys to do this. Just keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.